Western Canada on Vancouver Island, it's the land of the Lumberjacks. The only thing bigger than the trees are the Lumberjack sport competitors on the can log circuit. We're gonna chop, we're gonna saw, we're gonna have some balancing acts and some axe throwing. Are you ready to roll into another episode of Lumberjacks?
Lumberjacks is sponsored by Echo, only professional grade with 5-year warranty. Crown, protect, maintain, save. The new You Find Fish app. Fish with your phone. Humminbird, simply, clearly better.
We're up here in northern Vancouver Island for ORCAFEST and Port McNeill and the Logger Sports Competition. Hi, I'm Bill Deba, along with my co-host Rod Cumberland, Lumberjack Sports Analyst. Now, I know, Rod, some of these guys are Eastern boys that are making this show happen.
That's right. Doug Falkins and Nick Russell, Dave McLeod, went to school with them at UNB over 20 years ago now, but younger guys, really energetic, and they're very involved in CanLog and pulling shows like this together. Another
Eastern guy, Mike DeRocha, went to Lakehead University back east. He's the Eastern boy, along with Roger Briscoe. All these guys hoping to make this event happen for many years to come. Now, this first show, we got the hot saw and the single buck. What do we got going on the hot saw?
Hot saw. Brad DeLosa actually brought his Rotax engine the whole way up from Australia, so it's going to be the biggest saw here today. He's going to be a tough guy to beat. But Nick Russell, being pretty creative, he's actually taken an Echo chainsaw, a little bit small in CCs, but he's modified it all. He plans to run that in the hot saw.
And we're also covering the single buck. Once again, I think you're going to be looking at the boys down under to excel here.
That's right. The Australians, New Zealanders, and the two we have here, of course, Brad DeLosa from Australia, and then Bobby Dowling from New Zealand. They'll be tough to beat in the single buck, but it'll be fun to watch.
And they're kicking things off with the big annual parade of the annual celebration of ORCAFEST here in Port McNeill, North Island, where the tourists come from all over Vancouver Island as well as the mainland. Western Forest Products, one of the big sponsors, bringing in the trees for the competition. Right now we're getting ready for the single buck. We're going to be showing you the top 8 competitors in 4 heats of 2.
Hi, I'm Doug Falkins from Campbell River. I'm a professional forester.
Hi, I'm Troy Lambert. I'm from Bowser, BC. I'm in recycling.
Well, here's our recycled New Brunswicker, Dougie Falkins, living on the west coast now. Dougie hails from Sussex, New Brunswick, not far away from where I live. And Dougie's quite a guitar picker. He actually is pretty talented on the guitar, but I see he set that down today to grab the single buck and give us hand a whirl here at the single buck.
Actually, he told me before the show he's now writing a few songs for some people in Nashville. He's taking on Troy Lambert in the first heat of the single buck. Troy Lambert, relative newcomer to the competition here, and looking to try to use the muscle in this technique.
That's right. Actually, this is a really aggressive saw, Bill. He's not really running it that well. He's kind of jerking all over the place, but the saw is cutting phenomenally.
And this is what strength is going to do. You don't have a smooth technique here, but strength is really allowing the saw to drop, and Troy Lambert's going to win the first heat, set a time of 23.49 as a time to beat. Troy, now you're having I know you've mentioned you're having a bit of a hard time with your shoulder. Just tell me about the single bucking and your use of your shoulder.
Well, it's about 40% of your pull, and the rest about 60% of your legs and your midsection.
Well, maybe if you have a shoulder issue, you might put a little bit more emphasis on your legs, but typically it'd probably be 60-40, 60% in your shoulders. A lot of this work in the single buck is, of course, out of the shoulders.
You talk to any of the experts, they're all going to talk about the fact that you do need some legs. We're going to see Derek Pouchick and Nick Russell here use their legs. They are experienced competitors in the CanLog circuit. These guys are going to probably lower the time to beat considerably here.
Yeah, Nick started with his hands quite wide on that handle. Quite a big handle on the end of his single buck. I was wondering if he was going to actually do his whole cut with his hands that far apart, but he's got them back together. He's really getting into this cut. That saw is sinking fast.
Derek Pouchick struggling a little bit there. He had his left hand on top of the saw. Nick Russell really using the whole length of the saw, banging his handles, and Nick Russell's going to lower the time to beat down to a 20.07. You were pretty aggressive with that saw, pretty hungry, and of course the wood's pretty soft. Just tell me about that cut.
Oh, I'm real happy with the cut. It was cutting really well. I just picked up the pace and it was gutting. It was sinking. One little hiccup though at the end though.
Yeah, so you're getting so aggressive and you thought you'd go all the way through without a hiccup. What happened there?
I was just using the full length of the saw and just got it down the lower end. You got to start using a little bit less of the saw.
Thanks, Nick.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, Nick knows there's a couple of young fellas coming up from New Zealand here yet to go in the single buck, and those guys will be turning on the heat. So he's got to lay down a good cut while he has a chance, and that wasn't a bad cut.
Well, the heat number 3 is going to feature Dave McLeod from Campbell River taking on what seems to be the timeless veteran Matt Mooney from UCLUELET, BC. We're going to see a lot of experience in this competition here right now. 20.07 is the time to beat. A real fast start by Dave McLeod, but a little bit of a blip there.
Yeah, it looks like he's got a 3-peg and raker. I see Matt Mooney's using it looks like a 2-peg and raker. He's got a lot more teeth and rakers on that saw. It should cut this wood a little bit faster where it's soft white pine.
Matt Mooney's saw is really dropping fast there, and he's not using the full length of it, that's for sure. Matt Mooney's going to lower this time to beat down to a 19.46 as Dave McLeod struggles. Matt Mooney was nice and smooth there, but you were having an adventure getting through that log.
If you want to call it an adventure, sure. I'd say more of a frustration myself.
Is it fatigue? I mean, you weren't keeping it level. You kept catching a rake and buckling the saw on the way in.
Yeah, just having a bit of a bad day, that's all. And I think I might have rocked the saw a little bit on the top there. It was just a little high and just hung a raker probably a few times there on the top. Once I got into the block, it was okay.
Better luck next time.
Yeah, I hope so. Thanks.
Brad DeLosa, fitter machinist, New South Wales, Australia.
Bobby Dowling from Tuatapi, New Zealand, and I'm a land surveyor.
Well, here's the Oz and the Kiwi. The guys have been waiting to see in the single buck, Bill, and you know that these guys are going to lower that time to beat. They're going to assault this 19-second time.
Well, it's great to see Matt Mooney holding the time to beat right now at 19:46. You know these guys have got a bit of a rivalry going on. One from Australia, one from New Zealand. You got to figure there's going to be personal pride involved here as well.
No question at all. And, of course, both these guys are good at the single buck. They've got a lot of experience. And look at Bobby Dowling cut through this wood.
He's going at a faster pace. Brad DeLosa looks like he's got the longer saw and using more of the saw, but Bobby Dowling is hammering through this log. Bobby wins with a time of 13.85. Now going into that heat, you're going into Brad DeLosa, one of the best, and you got to be pretty proud to beat him.
Oh yeah, no, I really like to get a win, and I was stoked to get one there over Brad. He's a great competitor, and I was pretty lucky there. He caught up a bit at the start, and that was all the difference was. It was just neck and neck all the way, and yeah, I consider myself pretty lucky here.
Well, what a great race in the single buck. Brad DeLosa with a time of 14.76 seconds, but Bobby Dowling with a big upset victory with a 13.85 second first place in the single buck.